Welcome to another Tech Help video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I'm your instructor, Richard Rost. Today, we're going to build a delete button so we can delete accounts. We don't just want people deleting stuff willy-nilly. So we're going to first set up some referential integrity so you can't delete any accounts that already have transactions. Okay, that's bad. And we're not going to rely on Access's built-in error messages because they're not very good. So we're going to put up our own. Okay. And then even if they don't have transactions and you can delete it, we're going to make sure, we're going to say, are you sure you really want to delete this? Because you shouldn't, but okay, if you want to, here you go. All right. That's all coming up in part 6. Here we go. Okay. And we're back. One of the things that you're going to find throughout this series and most series that I do like this is that there are going to be some minor changes that I make off camera sometimes. Like yesterday when I wrapped part 5, I started using it for a bit on my own, and I noticed a few things I wanted to change, just little minor things. But I always make a list of them so I can mention them to you in the video in the next class, and that way you're not confused looking at my database going, why is it different? What did I miss? What did I miss? So let me just show you a couple things that I changed off camera. Nothing major, like I said. I made the account fields a little wider, like this, just a bit wider here, just so I get, because some of my account names are a little bigger than that. No big deal, right? I added the notes field here, down here. Okay. If you go into an account, let's see, pick one that's got some notes here. Cancel. I don't think I have any notes. Do I have any notes in these? No, I don't. But if you put notes in one of them, right? These guys rock. Okay. Save. And you'll see it down here. Because I like to just be able to, when I'm on the account, see whatever my notes are down here. All right, minor thing. And that is just a matter of, for those of you who are not familiar, anything that is on a continuous form, okay, obviously the details of each record show up here, but whichever record you happen to be on, if you want to see additional information for it, you can put it in the form header or footer. So this notes field will be for whichever account you're on. So if I'm on the accounts page and I click on regions checking, that's blank. If I click on Amex Platinum, it's now showing you that record. So I do that trick a lot. I also made the detail form wider. Again, for me, I've got some notes that I want to be able to see more of over here. Made these a little bit wider. Oh, and one big thing that I did add. All right, go back to design view, go into your save button. Okay, and we need to add a me.refresh right here. Because when we save the record, okay, in this detail section, and we want to go back and requery the parent, right, back in here, okay, the list, this will requery, but this information isn't saved to the table until this line here when the close event happens. So we have to refresh this form first, then we can requery the form behind it. Then when we close this form, that guy gets updated. So without this me.refresh, okay, if that's not there, save it, right? Okay, if I add a record, okay, save it, it's not there. It's in the table, right? But it doesn't show up until we requery this guy. You can do it with an F5, but we don't want to do that, right? So again, you have to come in here, design view, and you have to put that me.refresh there. So it refreshes this record, then requeries the form behind it, then closes this one. Okay, so those are the things I did off camera, but I figured I'd mention those. And let's get rid of this. We're going to work on the delete button today, but I'm going to get rid of it for now, right? Delete. Okay. Now, again, yesterday after class, I sat down with it a bit, and I was putting in some of my data, my sample data, my actual data that I use, and because that's how you really get to know the database the best, when you work with it yourself with real data. Obviously, I'm not going to rely on this as my only source of the real data until it's done and it's gone through testing, and it's, I'm going to run this simultaneously side by side with my Excel spreadsheet. But you get a better feel for the database and how it's going to work in the long run if you use actual real data in it, but just don't rely on it. And one thing that I kind of decided was that I don't really like the double click to open up this thing. All right. I want to have it so that there's an open account button down here on the bottom. A, I don't use it that often. B, a lot of other users aren't going to necessarily know that you double click here to get the details like that. All right. So I'm going to get rid of that. And I like having it so that when I double click on the name of the account, it does that refresh recalculations thing. I'm just used to it. I like that. So we're going to put down here, we're going to have add an account. We're going to have open account right above it. All right. So we're going to slide this down. We're going to put open account above that one. So you'll click on the account you want and then hit open account. I know it's kind of backwards to what I do in a lot of my databases. But again, I was using it yesterday and this is kind of how I want to do it. So this is what we're going to do. You're at my mercy. This is my database. I'm putting the Legos together the way I want them to be. You can do yours however you want. You don't have to do what I'm doing. That's why you're learning how to do this stuff. All right. We're going to go to all, open account. Oh, we'll do account button. BTGN. That's something I wanted. All right. Add account button, open account button, right click, build event. And this time we're going to do command open form, account detail F, comma, 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 chameleon, where the account ID equals the account ID on this form. Again, you don't have to have the field on the form as long as it's in the underlying table. Close it, close it, close it, open it. All right, region savings. Open account. There's my region. And as for the double click event, I'm going to set that equal to the double click event that's over here, which is just do recal. Copy. Account name. I'll put it in the after update as well for the date updates. And for this double click event here, yeah, that's a good idea that I see this here because I forgot about that forcing that AC form edit. So we're going to take this stuff and we're going to move this down into my open account button. I forgot about forcing that AC form edit. Good idea. Then we can get rid of this, save it, and then we can go back here and do this and that. Save, close, close. And now if I open this, now if I'm just running down my list and I want to, update the region savings, I just double click and it updates the date. Okay. Plus, I kind of don't like to have, when you double click on this, it highlights the stuff. I don't know. Right? You come back to this form and that's all highlighted. Yeah, there's tricks you can play to get away from that. Okay. Next up is deleting an account. Now, generally, I am of the mindset that I don't like to delete anything. Okay. Except for temporary data. If you got like you're processing batches of emails and you send out 20,000 emails from your database and, once it's done, maybe keep them around for a couple of days, then you can delete that. Okay, fine. But as far as customer data, order information, all that kind of stuff, generally I am of the mindset that you don't delete it and you hang on to it and you just mark it deleted, in the table, right? Is deleted or is active or whatever you want to call it. In fact, I've got a whole video on why it's a good idea not to delete data, especially important data. Okay. For example, a customer moves away or dies, right? You're never going to need his information again. You delete his customer record. Well, now you got orders in the system that don't have a related customer. So there's problems. So you just mark the customer inactive. You're never going to see him again. He doesn't show up on your reports, that kind of stuff. I've got another whole video that you can use to prevent users from deleting records. All right, I disable the built-in delete, like allow deletions, which we're going to do some of that today for this database. And you provide them with your own delete button, which is essentially what we're going to do today. Okay, so go watch this if you want to learn more, but I'm going to show you the nuts and bolts of it today. I like to also provide my own delete button for the user to use instead of them getting used to clicking over here and hitting delete, because I can control exactly what happens. There are on delete events in the form, but they're very weird. I don't like using them. Some of them are like, before delete confirmation, after delete confirmation. I turn off delete confirmations. I don't like them. I think they're annoying. And so I like to control the delete process myself with a button. I don't usually let users delete stuff on their own by using the normal methods. All right, so for prerequisites for today's video, before we get into the delete stuff, I want you to go watch this message box. Are you sure? You can use a message box to display information on the screen, but you can also use it to ask the user if they're sure, yes or no, okay, cancel, that kind of stuff. So go watch this. We're going to use this. When they hit delete, we're going to go, are you sure? You really want to delete this account? Okay. Then I want you to make sure you understand referential integrity, which is relationships between tables and special rules. Okay, for example, we're not going to allow them to delete an account if they have any active transactions for that account. All right, because remember, we're going to have a transactions table too, right over here. All right, wait, where is it? All right, this guy, it's got our transactions in it. We're not going to allow them to delete an account if there are transactions. You could go the other way and say, okay, we can cascade delete those transactions. All right, cascade delete is when you delete a table and then it deletes the records in the related tables. That's very dangerous. I don't like that. So for this database, I'm just going to say you can't delete an account if there are any transactions in the transactions table. Same thing, you can't delete an account type if it has accounts, right? You can't delete checking from the account type table as long as it's got accounts. You got to delete the children first. It'd be like with an order. You can't delete an order unless you delete the details. You can set up cascade delete so that if you do delete the order, it automatically wipes out all the line item details. But again, that gets dangerous, so you gotta be careful. Now, when it comes to referential integrity, all right, controlling the integrity between these, you have to do it in the back end. You can't do it here in the front end table. So once again, let's take a trip to the back end table. And you can see why normally I do this when I'm finished with the database, splitting the database, that is. And sometimes I set up the relationships when I'm almost done too, the global relationships, which I don't use that often. Okay, but it's under database tools, relationships. We're going to bring in account type. We're going to bring in account, and we're going to bring in transaction. The only time I do this is to enforce referential integrity. All right, account type ID to here. All right, we're going to enforce referential integrity. Don't pick Cascade Update or Delete. Cascade Update is stupid. You're never going to use it. Cascade Delete says if you delete the account type, it's going to delete all of the accounts. That's bad. You don't want that. So hit Create. There's that relationship. And now we'll do the same thing going from account to transaction. So account ID down to here. Enforce referential integrity. So that way you can't delete an account if there are transactions under it. You have to delete the transactions first. Okay? Again, if you enforced Cascade Delete here, if you deleted the account, it would delete the transactions. And if you've got Cascade Deletes between all three of these, if you deleted an account type, all of these are gone and all of the related transactions are gone. So that's why this is dangerous. Be careful with it. Okay? Save that. Close it. Now I'm going to go have to do it in the other two company tables. In fact, I'm going to get rid of company B at this point. Bye. And I think I'm going to rename company A to sample data. Because we know this works now. Now all I have to do is maintain that and Rick's data. So I'm going to go do that right now, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, now when I open up this again, all right, look, there is our error message, right? Can I find company data? Please relink the backend file. Now, I renamed it at the table level. So this is an admin thing. You're going to have to go into your company T. I'm going to get rid of company B. I'm going to put sample data in here. And we can rename this to sample. All right, close it, and then we'll do our relink. Drop it down, sample data, and we're good. Beautiful. Okay. So now with referential integrity involved here, if I go to the account type table and I try to delete credit, it says you can't do it, right? This record cannot be deleted because account T includes related records. So it's protected. All right, so about that delete button, let's go to the accounts, and I want to put a delete button. I'm going to put it on the account detail form, this guy. So in order to, it makes it even one step harder to delete an account. You can't just do it from here. You have to open it up. Oh, I see, I got used to doing that in this database now. Double clicking here. Open account. Okay. We'll put the delete button. Let's put it over here on this side so you don't accidentally click it. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is make sure that allow deletions is off on this form. Let's go to data. Allow deletions is no. Okay, good. We already did that. And we'll make sure that it's on the other form as well. So pick open account, design view, and in here, allow deletions is no. There we go. Allow additions is going to be, yeah, leave that on. That's fine. We turned off the record selector so they can't just go to a new record, but this button will take them to a new record, so that's fine. And allow edits obviously has to be on. But turn allow deletions to no, so they can't delete it by any other means aside from using your button. And speaking of your button, copy one of these guys, Control-C, Control-V, put it over here. Delete. All right, open up its properties. Delete button. Right click, build event. All right, first thing we're going to do is say, are you sure? Actually, before that, what we could do is, if you don't like the default messages that Access gives, that says, you know, the cascading, the referential integrity message, right? If you don't want that stock Access message, you can figure it out yourself if there are related records. All right, you can look into the transaction table and see if anybody in here has that account ID. Right, and that's just simply a DLOOKUP. Okay, so in here, first check for related transactions. It's more user friendly than relying on the stock Access messages, right? So we need an ID, or you can count them, or you can look up one. It doesn't matter. It does the same thing. I think DLOOKUP's a slight bit faster. Okay, so ID equals NZ DLOOKUP. What are we looking up? We're looking up a transaction ID in the transaction table where the account ID equals the account ID on the current form. Oh, and we had NZ'd it, so comma 0. Okay, so if it looks in that table and it sees a transaction with the current account ID, it'll return that ID. Otherwise, it'll return a null, which turns into 0. So if ID is not 0, then there are transactions for this account. And now we can tell them, right? Message box, you cannot delete this account because it has transactions. Delete those first. Okay? Comma, maybe critical, maybe. And the default's okay. Can't really do anything about it. If you wanted to be nice, you could program in here and say, there's a transaction. Would you like me to delete those now? And that's a little better than just doing a cascade delete. You can handle that here in code with a little SQL statement, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna make them go and have to delete the transactions manually. Okay? So at this point, we'll just exit sub and if. All right, now we get down to here. Oh, I forgot one more thing we gotta check too. We don't want to allow them to click this button if they're on a blank new record and it has no ID. So if is null account ID, then just exit sub. You could hide the button. You could give them an error message. But I just make the button not work. Right? You just come in here, close it. It changes yes. If they go to add account and at this point hit delete, just nothing will happen. You could hide the button. You can. I don't care at this point. Those are little things that I add like in version 2. You know, those little teeny tweaky cool things. For now, I just want to make this thing work. Then we'll make it pretty. Well, it is pretty already because I'm building. Aside from that, all right. What were we doing? Okay, yeah, we're coming in here, making a delete button. All right, so we check to make sure there are no related transactions. If we get here, there's no related transactions. This is okay. Now we can ask them if they're sure. Okay, and I'll put this in a reply as along. Okay, reply equals message box. This will delete the current account. Are you sure? Question mark. Comma. VB yes, no, cancel. Comma. Delete account. All caps. Okay. Why do I like VBS no cancel? I've mentioned this in a couple of other videos. Basically, if I give them yes or no and they're not sure, they panic. But if they see yes or no and a cancel always tells people, no, get out of here. Forget it. That's why they don't even have to think about answering the question. If they accidentally click the button, they just know to hit cancel. Okay? All right, so now at this point, if they answer anything other than yes, we're going to just exit sub. If they say no or cancel, exit sub. So if reply is not equal to VB yes, then exit sub. Okay? Okay. Okay, now at this point, we've cleared all the hurdles. We can delete the record. How do you delete a record? Well, the normal command is do command dot run command, and then it's accmd delete, not that one, delete record. Okay, the other one's for deleting objects, which you don't want to do. Okay. All right, let's see what happens. Save it. All right, so come back here. I don't want to delete this one, though. Let's make a bogus one. Add an account, and then we'll do XXX and this, and we'll save it. Okay, it's in the table now. Let's open it back up again. Open account. Delete. This will delete the current account. Are you sure? Yes. And there it goes. Okay. Now, notice. Well, we should probably close the form after that point. Let's close the form. And then we're going to want to requery this guy behind it again, just like we did when we added the account. Where's the add account code? Where are you? Where'd you go? There you are. Right? Requery it and close it right there. And we'll put right here, OK to delete. Save it. And let's do that again. Add account. Whoops, I hit it. Cancel. Add account. Why? Pick something. Save it. Click. Open. Delete. Sure. Yep. And there we go. Perfect. Let's put a transaction in the table for something and test that too. Add account. I got mail. Yay. Okay. So this guy's account number, which we don't see anywhere. Notice how I'm not displaying auto numbers anywhere. I usually display auto numbers in my beginner databases, right? Or for you, the developer, they're handy to see too. But in my finished end user databases, I usually don't display those. I got lots of reasons why, but they don't need to see them. If you need your own kind of account number, you can make your own. Here's a video you can watch on that, why you'd want to make a customer code, some kind of unique code. You don't want to give, like consecutive customer numbers to people. So lots of reasons why. Go watch this video for details. Okay, and one more thing I want to mention. Sometimes this command doesn't work. Sometimes you have to use a little bit of SQL to delete records. It all depends on how it's set up. In this particular database, this works just fine. Sometimes you need to use a little delete query, but we don't need to today. So if it comes up later, we'll get to it then. But what were we doing? Oh, yeah. So 28 is the auto number for this new account. Why? Because I added and deleted a bunch of them in the middle when I was testing and playing and stuff, like that X and the Y and the other one. Does this matter? No, this number is not for you. You shouldn't care what that ID is. It's completely out of your brain. Okay? This only is for access to create those relationships. Okay? I get asked this one a lot. Oop, the QR code is right there. There we go. I can see the QR code. I get asked this one a lot. I get all kinds of people going, how do I add an auto number in the middle? I deleted customer 4. I need to bring. No, you don't know. Yes, there are ways to do it. Yes. But these are not numbers that are for you. They're for access. So we'll watch this for more. All right, so we're going to create a transaction for account 28 just to test this and see if it's working. Ready? So transactions. All right, sample transaction, whatever. Account 28, and it's for $1 on this date. Okay? Now I should not be able to delete that account now. Ready? Open account. Delete. See? Cannot delete this account because it has transactions. Delete those first. Well, let's get rid of microsoftaccess. I try to avoid that. Not that I don't love Access. I love Access. But a lot of people, there's a bias where they don't want other people to know that they're using Access. So yeah, I've got whole videos on how you can make it so it doesn't look like you're using Access. So, where are you? Right here. Yeah, delete those first. Let's do this. Comma, cannot delete. Okay. Save it. And I think one more thing I think I'm going to do is Because I open accounts a lot more than I add them, and these buttons are very similar, I think I'm going to move the add account button over here on this side and keep open over here by itself. Just because I want to come over here and click on it, right? So I'm going to put all the stuff that I'm not going to use as often over here. It's just a visual thing. I'm sitting here almost, like I have to take a half a second more to think about which button I want to click on, when this is the one I want to use most of the time. And I'm going to add more stuff over here later on that's just seldom used stuff. But this guy is going to be, right? Maybe even make it bigger like that. Account. Okay. So now it's going to look a little more, yeah, open account. Click here, open account. Right, click on this. Let's get rid of that transaction. We don't have a way to delete transactions. So we don't have a transaction form yet. We're getting there. We're getting there a little bit at a time. Open account, delete. Are you sure? Yep. Man, we're good. We're golden. All right, before we go, I just finished the extended cut for this video. What we did was, and I'll talk about this in a few minutes, is we worked on the sort order and made some buttons here to move accounts up and down. But I have a couple of off-camera notes. They're off-camera for you, but I did them in the other class. First, I changed the tab order on the account details page, this thing here, because it was going tab, 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 tab. Changing tab order is real simple. Design view, right? Form design, tab order is right there. If you don't know how to do that, go watch my tab order video. I'll put a link down below. And also I changed the cycle, which is here, other cycle to current record. That way when you tab, 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 it doesn't go to the next record. As we saw earlier, it stays on the same record, which you don't want it to go to a blank record because that's bad. That's also covered in my tab stop order cycle. I keep missing the QR codes. The tab stop, tab order, stop, cycle, that's all covered in the same video. Go watch that if you don't know what those things are. Whoop. Now, one thing I also did was I changed the account type sort order to double, okay? And the reason why I did that was because in the extended cut, we're working on this sort order. And what we're doing is, let's say I want to move fidelity up here after PayPal before regions, okay? If I put 1 in there or 2, you're not really sure whether it's going to resort above or below PayPal. So let's say I put a 2 in there. It might go above regions. It might go below it. Okay, in that particular case, it went above it, which is fine. But if I want to be able to specifically put it exactly where I want it to go, then I need to be able to use like 6.5. And now when it resorts, it sticks it in that right spot. And what you just saw was it's resorting automatically in the background. So I can take this guy and I can say, okay, put it at position 1.5, and it sticks it right there. And that resorting is what we covered in the extended cut. And also, click here, we can now go down, down. Look at that. It moves it, resorts it automatically in the background, and puts you right back on the same record. That's all covered in the extended cut. Extended cut is where I cover all the really cool bells and whistles, the nifty stuff, the stuff that takes you from an Access user to a professional Access developer, the little things that really make your project stand out. So check it out, extended cut, silver members and up get access to all of my extended cuts. And as of today, folks, what is it? It's July of 2023. Silver membership is $5.99 a month. That's it for the whole month. And you can watch all of my extended cut videos. I think there's like 300 of them now. You could be watching for years. If you watch like one a day, it'd take you a while. But yeah, check it out. And of course, gold members can download these databases, and members get a free class every month on my website for my full course. So yeah, it's definitely worth it, folks. All right. That's going to do it for part 6. I'll see you again for part 7 soon. And that'll be your tech help video for today, folks. I hope you learned something. Guess what's coming up next? Live long and prosper. That's right. That's my sign off. I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and post any comments you may have below. I do try to read and answer all of them as soon as I can. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, which is completely free. Click the bell icon and select all to receive notifications when new videos are posted. Want to learn more? Click the Show More link below the video to find additional resources and links. YouTube does a pretty good job of hiding it. It's right down there. See this part of the description here, right? The name, the video's up here. There's a little Show More down there, right down the bottom. It's kind of hard to find. But once you click on that, you'll see a list of other videos, additional information related to the current topic, free lessons, and lots more. And YouTube no longer sends out email notifications when new videos are posted like they used to do. But if you'd like to get an email every time I post a new video, click on the link to join my mailing list. And you can pick how frequently to get emails from me, either as they happen, daily, weekly, or monthly. Now, if you'd like to become a paid member of my channel and receive all kinds of awesome perks, click on the Join button. You'll see a list of all the different membership levels that are available, each with its own special perks, including my extended cut videos, access to my code vault, lots of VBA source code in there, template downloads, and lots more. I'll talk more about these perks at the end of the video. Even if you don't want to commit to becoming a paid member and you'd like to help support my work, please feel free to click on the tip jar link. Your patronage is greatly appreciated and will help keep these free videos coming. I got some puppies to feed. But don't worry, no matter what, these free tech help videos are going to keep coming. As long as you keep watching them, I'll keep making more, and they'll always be free. Now, if you really want to learn Access and you haven't tried my free Access Level 1 course, check it out now. It covers all the basics of Microsoft Access, including building forms, queries, reports, and more. It's over 4 hours long. You can find it on my website or on my YouTube channel. I'll put a link down below you can click on. And did I mention it's completely free? The whole thing, free, 4 hours. Go watch it. And okay, a lot of you have told me that you don't have time to sit through a 4-hour course. So I do now have a quicker Microsoft Access for Beginners video that covers all the basics faster in about 30 minutes. And no, I didn't just put the video on fast forward. But I'll put a link to this down below as well. Now, if you like level 1, level 2 is just $1. That's it, $1. And that's another whole 90-minute course. Level 2 is also free for paid members of any level, including supporters. So if you're a member, go watch level 2. It's free. Okay, want to get your question answered in a video just like this one? Visit my tech help page and send me your question there. Members get priority, of course. While I do try to read and respond to all of the comments posted below in the comments section, I only have time to go through them briefly a couple of times a month, and sometimes I get thousands of them. So send me your question here on the tech help page, and you'll have a better chance of getting it answered. And while you're on my website, be sure to stop by my Access forum. We've got lots of lively conversations about Microsoft Access and other topics. I have a fantastic group of moderators who help me answer questions. Shout out to Alex, Kevin, Scott, Adam, John, Dan, Juan, and everybody else who helps out on the site. I appreciate everything you do. I couldn't do it without you. Be sure to follow my blog, find me on Twitter, and of course on YouTube. Yeah, I'm on Facebook too, but I don't like Facebook. Don't get me started. Now, let's talk more about those member perks if you do decide to join as a paid member. There are different levels: Silver, Gold, Platinum, and Diamond. Silver members and up get access to all of my extended cut tech help videos, one free beginner class every month, and some other perks. Gold members get all the previous perks, plus access to download the sample databases that I build in my tech help videos, plus access to my code vault where I keep tons of different functions that I use, the code that I build in most of the videos. You'll also get higher priority if you do submit any tech help questions. Now, answers are never guaranteed, but you do go higher in the list for me to read them. And if I like your question, you got a good chance of it being answered. You'll also get one free expert level class each month after you've finished the beginner series. Platinum members get all the previous perks plus even higher priority for tech help questions. You get access to all of my full beginner level courses for every subject. And I cover lots of different subjects like Word, Excel, VBA, ASP, lots of different stuff, not just Access. These are the full-length courses found on my website. You get all the beginner ones. In addition, once you finish the expert classes, you get one free developer class per month. So lots of training. And finally, you can also become a Diamond sponsor. You'll have your name or your company name listed on a sponsors page that will be shown on each video as long as you're a sponsor. You'll get a shout out in the video and a link to your website or product in the text below the video and on my website. So that's it. Once again, my name is Richard Rost. Thank you for watching this video brought to you by accesslearningzone.com. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something today. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you again soon.